Sanford Hainer, hanged February the 17th, 1910. At 8:10 a.m. on Thursday, February the 17th, 1910, Sanford Hainer, 24, was hanged at the Northwest Territorial Jail and Lunatic Asylum in Regina for the murder of Alfred D. Fraser at Margot, Saskatchewan on Dominion Day, a.k.a. July the 1st, 1909. Hainer would be the last man hanged at the jail. 3 previous inmates, Antonio Luciano and John Morrison, who were hanged for murder, and Knight Gunn, who died of tuberculosis, were buried in unmarked graves on the grounds of the jail, which is now Wascana Park. Hainer took 13 minutes to die. The motive for the murder was an unpaid debt. Fraser was plowing his field when Hainer shot him, first in the shoulder, then fatally in the head, as he attempted to run away. In Fraser's cabin, RCMP Corporal Abich found a note from Hainer which read, "Mr. Fraser, if you don't repay that debt right away, I will put a bullet through your head." Abich and a local merchant named Barth attempted to arrest Hainer, but he brandished his rifle and said he would surrender the next morning, which he did. Hainer went on trial at Yorkton, Saskatchewan on December the 10th, the defense pleading insanity. Hainer's mother traveled from Crystal Beach, Ontario, now part of Fort Erie, and testified that her son had sent her strange letters which referred to occult subjects, as well as ventriloquism, but both judge and jury rejected the idea of insanity and convicted Hainer, with no recommendation of mercy, after a 2-day trial, and he was sentenced to death. On February 17th, he walked firmly to the gallows, where Holmes, the hangman, wore both a mask and a false mustache as a disguise. Hainer's final words were, "I forgive everybody." Prior to his execution, Hainer confessed. Hainer would have been buried in quicklime to mask the smell of decomposition, buried in quicklime in the jail yard, but due to a special order from the Deputy Attorney General, the remains were claimed by a Regina alderman, and Hainer was buried in the potter's field of the old Regina Cemetery instead. The primary source for today's video is the article on Hainer in Death by Rope, an anthology of Canadian executions, Volume 1, 1867 to 1923, by Geoffrey Pfeifer and Ken Layton-Brown. While Hainer's burial in Potter's Field is mentioned in Layton-Brown's The Practice of Execution in Canada. Other sources, such as contemporary newspaper accounts and Frank Korvemaker and Kenton de Jong's research on the Northwest Territorial Jail and the men buried in Wascana Park, are linked in the description. The footage you see is me walking in that section of Wascana Park near where the old jail stood, as well as a panorama of the Potter's Field in the old Regina Cemetery. I hope you will consider subscribing to The Gallows, where we explore Canadian murder cases which ended on the scaffold. And remember, if you're born to hang, you'll never be shot. Cheers.